I am back to read you some more of this book. This book is Homeschooling from Rest, a homeschooler's guide to unshakable peace by Sarah MacKenzie. Yesterday we read the preface, and now we shall read the introduction. And it says, I shouldn't have written this book. In the book of Philippians, we are told to be anxious over nothing, yet we are anxious over everything. That's true. Have no anxiety about anything, but in everything and by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be known to God, and the peace of God, which passes all understanding, will keep your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. We worry that our students will be behind, that they won't score well on the SAT, get into a good college, or read enough of the great books. Our souls are restless, anxiously wondering if something else out there might be just a little bit better. If maybe there is another way or another curriculum that might prove to be superior to what we are doing now. We choose anxiety as our guide instead of humbly submitting it to God and letting Him guide us. We all know the story of Mary and Martha, I'm sure. See Luke 10:38-42. Jesus was staying at their house, and Martha, anxious to please Him and make Him comfortable, was bustling about, doing. Her sister Mary was sitting at the Lord's feet, listening attentively, beholding and soaking it in. We can picture Martha in her frustration with her sister, right? Don't just sit there, do something. And yet the Lord gently admonishes Martha's busyness. Mary, after all, has chosen the needful thing, the contemplative way, the being and becoming over the doing and the checking off. I can almost hear Him inverting the message to me, turning my obsession with productivity on its head. Don't just do something. Sit here. I've definitely gone through that forceful rest period where my body is like, do, and full of angst and busyness and feeling like I need to be doing everything all the time. And then being chronically ill, I went through a lot of forceful rest, and I resisted for the longest time. I was like, no, I could be doing stuff. No, I could be doing stuff. No, it's not that bad. I could be doing stuff. But in reality, if I would have just let my body rest and recover, I probably would have gotten better a lot sooner. So rest is so important. It is it's frowned upon by the modern world because they're in the middle of the rat race. But rest is important. I think I'm drinking out of the same cup and wearing the same hoodie from yesterday. I just like to keep things consistent. All right, so as homeschooling moms, we are anxious and troubled about many things. One thing is needful. If we choose the good portion, it will not be taken from us. We are called to work. That part we have down, more or less. We homeschooling mothers are quite adept at spinning our wheels, working dawn till dusk, and making sure our children have everything they need. We toil tirelessly to create lesson plans and assemble curriculum that will ensure our children know everything they need to know before they fly our coop. We worry, we fret, we know deep down in the core of our being that we are not enough. And what we offer is a pittance compared to the task before us. We feel small and insignificant because we are small and insignificant. The heart of this book is about remembering that our true task really is, what our task truly is, and then throwing ourselves in completely, giving our all, the raising of the children, the teaching of the truth, the sharing of the life, the nourishing of imagination, and the cultivating of wisdom. These are all His anyway. We are merely His servants. In the midst of all the doing, we forget the needful thing. We may sit at his feet. We may begin our day with prayer, Bible reading, and supplication. But is our teaching and mothering transformed by it? Do we really trust him? Do we really live each day from a state of rest? God doesn't call us to do this work and then turn away to tend to others. More important matters. He promises to stay with us, to lead us, to carry us. He assures us that if we rely on him alone, then he will provide all that we need. What that means on a practical level is that we have to stop fretting over every little detail. We need to stop comparing. We've got to drop the self-inflated view that we are the be-all and end-all of whether the education we are offering our children is going to be as successful as we hope it is. After all, our job is not to be successful. Successful itself is entirely beside the point. It's faithfulness that he wants. God is good. He isn't going to let us pour out our hearts for our children only to be left choking on the dust of our mistakes. Can we seek him first? Can we live and teach from a state of rest? My prayer is that we will. But we must approach the Holy Spirit every single day, asking him to lead us and to quiet our anxious souls so that we can really bless our children. Not with shiny curriculum or perfect lesson plans, but rather with purposeful, restful spirits. I have found this is so true. And I'm going to set the book down for a second and comment. I said yesterday that this is clearly written by a Christian person and that I don't identify in the mainstream organized Christian religion anymore. However, I do believe in God's spirit, but I believe in nourishing my spirit. I believe that Christ is within me. The God presence is within me. And that I'm not going to get into all my beliefs here, but I have to address it because I did do some further research about the author, and she is Catholic and raising her children Catholic. Well, I'm not Catholic and I'm not raising my children Catholic. I still feel like I could relate to this book because of what she's saying. She's saying instead of worrying about the lesson plans and if they're doing the right things and what everybody else is questioning, because my family and friends or whatever is like, well, what are you teaching them? What curriculum are you using? And they're all inquisitive, right? Every time he talks to his dad's wondering what he's learning. And so it's not really us that is so concerned about what the kids are learning. I mean, I am, of course, but I feel like I'm already teaching from a place of rest because I have realized that everything happens for a reason and everything happens in its own time and you can't rush things. Also, it's like we're with our kids every single day and I don't do tests. I don't do ABC grades or hundreds or stuff like that. I just make sure that they learn what I'm trying to get across to them and then we move on. Because if they're learning, that's the whole goal. I'm not trying to compare them to other people or make them feel less than or greater than by giving them a number grade or a letter grade. I'm just teaching and hoping that the lessons that I teach them will get through to what their purpose is, what they want to do with their lives. I'm not trying to create a doctor. I'm not trying to create a lawyer. I'm not trying to create anything besides what they want to be. I'm trying to guide them and nourish them and grow them to be decent human beings. And whatever they find their interest in, I will support that. Abigail has found interest in graphic design and she wants to be a published author. And so I am encouraging her for her reading and writing, language arts, I guess, type of studies right now. She's writing a children's book, and for her graphic design, she's illustrating it. So I'm just pushing her in the way that she wants to go and helping her along the way. We haven't decided yet what John wants to do. He's 8, so we're still just reading. And what I'm trying to do now is push this love of reading off onto him. If we can just read every day, then he will eventually learn to love to read and pick up books on his own and find what he's interested in reading about. So right now I just read anything he will listen to me. And then with math, he's super advanced in math anyway. So I do like a little online curriculum, Adapted Mind. So he does it's like a video game, math. And he gets to earn other skills and pets, stuff like that. So it's a rewarding game for him. But I said all that to say it's really the pressure from the outside that's wondering, like, what are you teaching your kids? What are you giving your kids? Are you doing enough? Are you doing what the public school wants? What are you doing at 8 o'clock? Like, I don't subscribe to the 8 to 3 school frame. Like yesterday, John didn't feel like learning in the morning. So we were up at 10 o'clock at night learning. I didn't push him to learn when he wasn't ready because he wouldn't retain it. I got to take my sweater off. I'm having a hot flash. Hang on. Yeah, I'm still drinking my coffee while I'm having my hot flash. Okay, so I said all that to say, I don't check in with God or pray or read the Bible or whatever like she's saying to do, but I do meditate, and I teach the kids to go out and meditate, and we do our self-affirmations, and we set the thought of the day. I am ready to learn. I am open-minded. I am paying attention. And we get our energy out, we growl, we dance, we run, we do whatever we need to do to get our body and minds activated. And then to set the mood for the learning time. I am ready to learn. I am listening. I am engaged, whatever. And then we make sure that we are comfortable, that we are not hungry or thirsty, that all of our needs are met in that moment so that we can focus on what we're learning. So I guess that's the same thing as what she was saying with, like, seek him first. And that we check in and approach the Holy Spirit every day. And all that. Hang on, I'm getting a call. And I'm back. Come on. Okay. We left off at, can we seek him first? Blah, blah. Okay. So the true aim of education is to order a child's affections, to teach him to love what he ought and hate what he ought. To teach them to love what they ought and hate what they ought. Our greater task, then, is to put living ideas in front of our children like a feast. We have been charged to cultivate the souls of our children, to nourish them in truth, goodness, and beauty, and to raise them up in wisdom and eloquence. It is to those ends that we labor. So that's how I feel. Like, there's certain things I'm supposed to teach my kid as far as, like, being a good human and being out in society. And that's, I don't think they have to know everything about chemistry and everything about geography and everything about all these different things that they teach in school. But the things that I think they really need to know are life skills, social skills, how conflict resolution, how to communicate efficiently, how to not let your emotions get the best of you, but how to communicate your emotions effectively, to listen to others, to serve others, to appreciate others, to love unconditionally, not to use people. There's all these ideas around how to treat people and how to set boundaries that I would like to instill into them. But also to teach them to be honest people, to be hardworking people, to do the things that you don't want to do because you know that they need to be done. And to find a love for learning, no matter what that learning is, like to never stop wanting to learn something. And then to learn to create something. Doesn't matter what that is. You could create a multi-billion-dollar business. That's great. But if all you want to do is create art, I'm here for that too. So that's, I guess, what she's saying is, like, there's certain things that we want to teach our children. It doesn't have to look like what people say it looks like. We toil because we long to be like the man in Psalms 1, who is like a tree planted by streams of water that yields its fruit in its season, and its leaf does not wither. In all that he does, he prospers. Yeah, we want to be successful, and we want our children to be successful. But success doesn't look the same for everyone. The heart of this book is about remembering what our true task really is and then throwing ourselves in completely, giving our all, the raising of children, the teaching of truth, the sharing of life, the nourishing of imagination, and the cultivating of wisdom. These are all his anyway. We are just merely his servants. The first edition of this book was available as an ebook only. After receiving feedback from our readers of the ebook, I put much thought and care into the revisions for the second edition. The material has been reorganized and added to, and it is my utmost prayer that these changes bless and encourage you. Teaching from rest is a lifelong journey. I'm not sure we really ever arrive, but the way that we encourage and build each other up along the way has the ability to shape our lives and the lives of our children for eternity. I'm so glad to hook arms with you in for this journey, and may God's most abundant blessings be yours now and always. So that is there's so many things. There's another one that says, before you read this book. And this video is probably nearing 20 minutes, but let's see. Oh, it's really short, so I'm going to read this. All right, before you read this book, you may want to get your hands on the companion set of Teaching from Rest. It contains a printable journal and a set of audio files. The companion journal will help you work through the principles discussed in these pages. You can print it out and use the commonplace area to copy out any passages or quotes that you don't want to forget. The journal prompts included will help you dig out ideas and live them out in your home and heart. The audio companion is a collection of recorded conversations between myself and the educator and mentors whom I respect most. This is delivered as a MP3 downloads. It includes Teaching from a State of What by Andrew Kern, Shole. She probably just says Shoal. I don't know. Changing the way that we think about school. And I think of Megamind. We love Megamind, and he calls school shul. So, yeah, I just want to say that. Let's Get Real, Mothering from a State of Rest with Brandy Venzel. And then If I Knew Then What I Knew Now with Cindy Rollins. You will find all of the companion materials at classicalacademicpress.com. So there's that if you need it. I'm just reading this for fun. So part 1, whose well done are you looking for? Oh, seriously though. The real problem of the Christian life comes where people do not usually look for it. It comes the very moment that you wake up each morning. All your wishes and hopes for the day rush at you like wild animals, and the first job each morning consists simply in shoving them all back. Is listening to what that other voice talking and wait. Okay. At the first job each morning consists simply in shoving them all back, in listening to that other voice, taking that other point of view, letting that other larger, stronger, quieter life come flowing in, and so on all day. Standing back from all your natural fussings and frettings and coming in and out of the wind. At C.S. Lewis in Mere Christianity. So what I'm going to do with this book is just kind of relate it to my beliefs. And if you're a Christian, superb. If you're Catholic, do your thing. Mormon, I don't care. I love you anyway. I literally don't care what you identify as. I'm just telling you what my beliefs are. I was in the mainstream Christianity for a decade, and then I saw through the lines and was like, wait, this isn't the whole story. I'm being manipulated to serve an agenda. And some people call that waking up, or what, I don't know what you call it, but I just call it aware. And so I started doing some further research and stuff. So anyway, whose well done are you working for? This is really saying, like, you shouldn't want praise from other people. You shouldn't want to please other people because you're working to please God. And I refer to God as source. He created me, created my soul. He or she or them or whatever, the creator is source. And I want to get closer to source. And so what I am doing is just trying to do the best that I can and being forgiving of my days that I'm not the best and learning from those, and then just trying harder the next day and being in every moment as every moment is. And so the well done that I'm looking for and working for is for the betterment of each day. I'm not necessarily thinking of 20 years down the line or yesterday, like, are we doing better than yesterday? Or I just want to be better than I was yesterday. So that's a good looking for backward. But I just want to look at today. What are we doing today? How do we feel today? Do we feel like we just need to rest and be with each other today? Or do we feel like we need to be productive today? And we learned that within the first hour of waking up. How there's 3 of us, so there's a collective, and we have to decide what the 3 of us are feeling that day. If one of us is off, then we 3 need to get to the heart and the problem of that one and get them on our energy level. If they are sick or if they are unable to reach the problem with them that day, then they can rest. They don't have to be a part of the production. I'm not going to force them to go to school if they have a sore throat or anything that's prohibiting them from showing up completely and retaining. Otherwise, you're just making them feel worse and they're not retaining what you're giving them. It's like she has a colander, not a bowl, and I'm going to give her a bunch of water. Well, it's just flowing right through her colander and we're wasting it. So we're wasting the water and she's wasting her energy holding the colander there for no reason. So just go to bed, okay? If you need to rest. Come back when you're prepared. She may be ready later, okay? I'm saying she because it's usually Abby. And sometimes it's John. And usually it's for a different reason. Like hers is because she doesn't feel well physically. And then his is because he doesn't feel well mentally or emotionally. So we just have to get to the root of the problem. And a lot of times Abby's mental and emotional issues come out as physical, as with me. Like if there's something going on in my heart, I'm going to show it physically. And so is she. So typically both of them is getting to the root of what's bothering them mentally and emotionally. And so I think in the day, we work on self-awareness. What does our self feel like today? Where is our self headed today? Are we able to be the best we can be ever today? Well, then let's rock it. Are we able to set us up for success tomorrow? Let's rock it. Okay? So whatever it is, we just do wholeheartedly whatever we're doing in that moment. If we're working on math, let's just do it with our whole self. If we're working on reading or writing, let's do it with our whole self. If we're reading a book, let's really try to pay attention and engage with the person who wrote this book and see the ideas. And then if we're working on science, let's really go into that with wonder. Like, oh, what can we learn with this? Let's get curious. So let's set the mood. And when we do that, it's like, I am curious. I am wondering what's going on. I want to learn more. I'm open-minded about different people's ideas and what they think and have discovered. And same thing with history. Like, who's saying it? What's the context? Is it true? Is there different stories about it out there? Let's see the entire story. So we might really engage in history that day and be the best we've ever been in history that day. And then the next day we don't really want to learn about history, or that day we're so enthralled in history that is our reading and our math, because we're learning up timelines and remembering dates and stuff. So there's numbers there, whatever. We don't have to do every subject in every day. We don't have to be the best we can be in every day. Like, we just live in the moment. And in that moment, what are we doing? What's the plan? And then how can we approach that and be the best that we can be? So that is the attaboy or the good job that I'm doing, is just how did we perform that day? What are we doing in this moment? Like, I don't want to be concerned with what other people think, but that is so hard to do. I'm so concerned with what other people think and how they feel I'm doing. Like, am I doing a good job? But I think if I just teach my kids the basics, which is like self-awareness, self-control, self-discipline, love for others, serving others, giving to others, then I think we're going to do okay. That's that of what I'm looking at. Maybe they didn't get the math lesson and the reading lesson that day. Maybe they didn't resonate with the history or science thing that we were learning that day, whatever. It's give or take every day on that. But if we can just be in the moment intentionally and learn to work with self and others, then I think I'm doing a damn good job. Because growing up, it didn't matter how many dates and names of the history things that I learned, which turned out to be untrue mostly. Like, I was not taught conflict and self-regulation. And that was a problem. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and we'll get into like the actual chapter 1 tomorrow. Let's see what it is. Part 1. Whose well done are you working for? All right, so we already kind of started that. The cake under the couch. That's the next chapter. The cake under the couch. Tomorrow, I'll see you tomorrow. It's only a day away.